Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bobbi. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Bobbi Clevino. How you doing?
Good morning. I am well. And you?
Good, good. I couldn't be in a better place right now.
I see that. I'm kind of envious here. Wow.
Yeah, I'm at a resort in northern Wisconsin. And hey, Lee, welcome. Um, glad you have internet. Yeah, I have internet because I have a hotspot. But
Sometimes you do
anyway,
that.
so yeah, I'm in a great place. You can't tell it's light out because of the way the lighting is hitting me and all that. But yeah, it is morning time. That's a real background. Yes, Lee. I
It's
am
live
sitting
there.
I am sitting on the floor in front of a fireplace, and I'm very, very happy to be here doing so. Um, so what's new and exciting with you, Bobbi? We haven't chatted in a while.
We have not. We probably should be resuming our natural breakfast with Bobbi chats all the time. But
We probably should be.
right. So when we get together, we just look like we're not really friends. We're just sort of acquaintances, and every now and again. But anyway, life, this past year has really been a difficult, large, changing, ever evolving kind of thing. I feel like sometimes I'm always, one step behind and then three steps ahead. And, I just think when I get my shit together kind of thing, and all of a sudden something else happens, it's like, no, you don't. So I don't know about you, but the year of the snake has been a difficult one. And, when I did my first direction in shaman school, it was the snake direction. And boy, it certainly has at least given me some heads up on what was coming next in order to shed what I needed to release and whatnot. And I know you've been going through some stuff too. And it seems like everybody, the things that we didn't need are the things that are being left behind. And it takes a little bit of effort to release all of that and then get to a point where you can recombobulate and get your life back together. So that being said, I understand. I know that we have a new guest today. For me, he's a new guest, and I was reading up on him. I am so excited to talk to him. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's bring him up because
let's do it.
Boy.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Blake. I love Lee's answer. We will never get our shit together. Hello.
It seems like there's shit laying all over the place.
At least, well, that's not my plan. At least I'm not gonna plan to get my shit together. It's like the equivalent of I'm never growing up.
Kind of. Don't call me mature. There's nothing mature. Who does that?
No. It's not
anyway. So reading up on your stuff, you posted something about your next live session or whatever that you're putting up there, and it was kind of living outside of the scripts. And was it you were talking about perhaps a mother wound type of thing?
No, actually. Oh man, this is the newest project that we've been undertaking.
Yes.
I saw it too.
I'm intrigued.
I'm actually kind of surprised right off the bat to jump right into this, but no, there is a new podcast. So we have the Everything Vaguely Paranormal podcast where we talk about everything vaguely paranormal, and but a new podcast is coming from a more therapeutic standpoint and a spirituality standpoint called Conversations with Mother. And is going to be centered around two main people, me and a friend of mine that I have that we call Mother, who has a background in therapy. And we're going to be kind of dissecting the scripts that we are conditioned to follow in life from birth and dismantling those and asking the hard questions about what does this really mean? Because I've been doing that on a spiritual journey since I was about 13 or so. And so we're coming from a place of looking at multicultural backgrounds and different ways of reimagining ways to think and ways to fully exist kind of unapologetically within spirituality, within love, within family, and kind of redefining those elements in life.
Wow. I was particularly enamored with your shame and guilt verses that you posted on there. I think we all struggle a lot. And I was brought up Catholic and going to Catholic school every day for 8 years. And actually it was going to mass every day for 8 years kind of thing. And then twice during Lent, which was another one of those religious things. But it seems like the way that society has their grip on people it's through shame and guilt. And depending on how you embody that is how it comes out in your life. And so to make people behave better, which is what Catholic school kind of is all about. And hopefully, I think it's a lot different today than it was when I went to school. And I'm sure many things are different than when I went to school. And I realized just a short while ago that I graduated in 1976. So our 50th class reunion is this year.
Mm.
And so many, many things change, in 50 years. So can you speak a little bit about the shame and guilt? What are you doing about that?
Oh my gosh, yes, that's one thing that I'm currently working through trying to break down is shame built around a lot of elements in my life. When I was about 13, so I was raised Southern Baptist. And whenever I was around 13, I came out, and that was kind of where I started to dismantle everything that I've been taught. And there was a lot of shame built up around, I was experiencing things whenever I was a young kid, around 8 to 10, and I couldn't explain to anybody, like, hey, I just feel when somebody walks in the room. I can't explain it. I don't know, And so I picked up like my first set of tarot cards. I remember picking that up around 16, and oh my gosh, it was like, that's the devil's work. You're doing the devil's work. You should be shameful of that. I carried that guilt with me for like the longest time. And it carried over into a lot of the relationships that I had in life because I wasn't able to authentically be myself with people that I met in life. And so then add in like the shame with myself of not living true, guilt over that. And so finally, I just got to a point where I was like, forget this. Like, this is too much to carry. Let's start breaking this down. And why am I afraid to be myself? And tell people, hey, I see people sometimes. I can't explain why or how, but I'll see a person walk across the room and they're dead. Let's just put it bluntly. They're dead, I mean, shame is a really hard one to overcome. That I got divorced about a year and a half ago, and I carried a lot of shame, guilt, embarrassment through that. And it took me breaking down into tears one night, just uncontrollably, of scraping the bottom of the barrel of shame and guilt of why did I stay so long? Why did I allow this to happen? Before I could really start digging through those emotions and being like, this is what I seek. I seek validation. I seek this. And I think that those are ways that shame and guilt are weaponized to be able to keep people in loops and in circles and in things in their life that they should be able to break free from. But as long as we can make you feel shame and make you feel guilty about it, we can keep you trapped in this never-ending cycle.
Right.
Exactly. I resonate so much with everything that you're saying. It's just, it's interesting because I'm on this unexpected, I'm going to call it a journey. But even now, even after, 40 years of being out of the shame producing stuff, I'm still, when I have a bad dream, it is always shame based.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. Even all these years later, like it goes
that's where,
deep.
It is. It's where everything that I'm realizing right now, being in a healthy relationship now and being triggered in certain elements, which, by the way, that should be very healthy in a healthy relationship. You should be triggered all the time. You ain't doing anything wrong, number one. Let me say that. You're experiencing in the moment live guilt or shame. That's why you're triggered. Sit with it. Try to figure out where it's coming from and see if you can't place it in a past experience in life and work through that.
So where do you go with that? Your shame and guilt. You mentioned that you sit with it. Where do you, when I do that, when I'm triggered, I go into, okay, what wound in me has been triggered? And, am I humiliated? I have a big humiliation wound. And then I have abandonment and betrayal and all of that kind of stuff. So I try to identify that. And then I journal about it. But everybody's process with that is so different. But the other thing that I've started lately is a lot of breath work, and I've added a lot of breath work into my shamanic sessions. So how do you navigate that? Where do you go when you notice that it's shame and guilt?
Mine is I have to process. I take time. That's where a lot of people just skip that. They want to go straight into how do I fix this, and that's
Right.
not necessarily the thing. It's like you're experiencing some type of emotion, maybe it's shame or guilt, and they want to jump right to how do I get rid of this, and
Right.
it's not about getting rid of it. You have to take time to process. So I go through my brain. I'm like, what am I experiencing? Where am I on my body? Am I experiencing it? Is it throat? Is it chest? Is it more down in the gut area or something like that? I too have abandonment. I too have family or familial wounds, I guess you could say, fear of rejection, all that kind of stuff. And I try to pinpoint the emotion that I'm feeling with the wound, like you were saying, and I meditate on that. I may not actually, put on the music and the headphones and sit cross-legged and go om for a little bit, but
Right.
I at least spend 5 or 10 minutes really in depth thinking about where this emotion's coming from, what wound could it be attached to. And I'm doing a lot of timeline journeying and root cause therapy type stuff. So I take the dial of that feeling and I turn it up as high as I can. If that's a 10, that's a 10. If that's a 20, that's a 20. And I let it radiate through my entire body. And then after that, I let it naturally come down on its own. And then I say, you know what? Thank you. I release you now. And then after that, if it is a trigger with the person that's in my life, my partner or somebody in the household, I'll sit down and have a conversation with them and goes, here's what happened. I got triggered. This is why I got triggered. And it's not you. It's this past situation that I experienced that I haven't completely worked through because my body was recognizing a pattern and my body reacted before my logical mind could catch up. And so now that I've sat and processed it and sat with it and let my logical minds catch up, I can now talk to you about it and I can now release it.
It is such a big thing that you voice your opinion about all of that. I'm working with a somatic stretch therapist who is a physical therapist, and then he's got a master's degree in psychology. And so if I go in there and we're stretching and whatever, and I start coughing, he immediately goes into my system and says, where are you? What is it you're holding on to? Because it's really about your throat chakra releasing what it is that it needs to release and getting rid of that. But there's so much power in sitting with all of that and feeling it. Yes. You have to feel all of it in order for it to leave. Otherwise, the remnants stay in your system, and then you have to go back and do it again, or it just sits there forever.
And but I sorry, I did not mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's especially hard speaking directly to men, because men, our entire lives, we are taught, suck it up. You don't cry. Be a man. Man up. We don't have emotions. Don't feel that, which is bullshit.
Right. Who designed that? Who said
exactly? Men are supposed to be manly and these aggressors and all this, and it's kind of like now we have a bunch of men walking around with a lot of pent up emotions they have no idea what to do with because they've been taught their entire life to just bottle it up and shove it to the side.
Right.
And it's like, no, don't do that. Sit with it.
And they're just angry and blurting out things and being vindictive and stuff. Just wow. So.
And they're confused. I just want to put that out there too. And they're confused because women are now saying that's not good enough. You don't get to treat me like that because you're the one who brings home a paycheck, because the women are also bringing home the paycheck and they don't need the men to be providers. So now women are expecting more of men, and men are not all men, obviously, but those stuck in that pattern are angry about it.
Well, and I'm just going to say that's from personal experience. Like I was raised in a household where we didn't share emotions. We didn't cry. I wasn't allowed to cry. Nobody, quote unquote, nobody wanted to see that. Nobody wants to hear that.
Right.
Oh yeah. Comment right there. Quit crying. I'll give you something to cry about. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that in my life. And it's when I realized that was doing a lot more damage to me as a person by just saying, I'm just going to bottle it up and stuff it down later. I got to a point where I was having very self-harming thoughts in my life towards the end of my marriage. And I was like, this is not me. I don't think this way. And it's because I had just bottled everything up. I wasn't working through it. I wasn't sitting with it. So the spiritual journey has taught me a lot about mental health and how to process and sit with it and be comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Right.
And I think
Where you
that's
release.
yes, and I think that's a huge thing that people need to realize is when you're dealing with your emotions, you really have to get very comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Well, you said an interesting thing before, that your body noticed it before your mind did. And that's
Yep.
exactly how it is. You know, the book out there of The Body Tells the Score.
Yep.
Your body
Yep.
knows what's going on if we would only listen to it. But again, we continue to ignore it because other people tell us. And I was talking with one of my daughter-in-laws the other day and said, you know, if only I would have known that, first of all, I didn't have to be part of a group, because you're so influenced when you grow up about how, you know, people tell you how to be, they tell you where to be, and then you have friends that are being one way and then they're doing nasty things to you because you're not like them. And so to get over all of that and try not to embody that in your system somewhere. And we wonder why our organs do different things and we can't get rid of stuff. It's because we've been stuffing them down for so long that we just can't even figure out how to get rid of it. And then things happen. And then we have to go to the doctor and on. The whole barrage of things happen.
Yep.
Then we get sick.
It's so true, especially in, I call it my healing journey, but it goes along with spiritual journey, mental health journey, this just healing journey that I've been on since the end of 2024, I guess, is when I really had a huge breakdown moment. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going on a healing journey. Like, I'm going to make it, I'm going to get better. Is I'm realizing that my body is the thing that reacts the most. My body is the thing that remembers the most. And when little small red flags start popping up, that's the trigger, and my body goes into fight or flight mode. And you have to sit with it in that moment to be able to process it logically, so that your brain has a moment to go, wait a minute, we are safe. This is not the same. This is something I'm recognizing from a past experience. And since doing that on a spiritual side of things, I've been able to embrace spirituality, mediumship, investigations, spiritual communication so much easier, because everything is slowly becoming unblocked within me, and communication is becoming easier. Guiding people, helping people, it just seems like people now reach out to me like, hey, I'm experiencing this. Like, did you experience this in your healing journey? And I'm like, you know what? You're okay. You're going to be irritable for a little bit because you're working with emotions. That's just how it's going to happen. You know?
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know about you, but in part of my spiritual journey, if I ignore it long enough, it becomes an illness. And every time I get off my path, or I can't really say that there is only one path per lifetime, but every time that I veer and I don't get right back to where I'm supposed to be, my body, it's not just a gut feeling. It's not just tightness in the jaw or the neck. You're in the hospital. It's you're, oh, look, here's some pneumonia. Look, have this, have that. Just to knock me down and make me sit still long enough, because I'm a hyperactive child. I've always been a hyperactive child, and I have trouble sitting still. And sometimes the universe says, you're not listening, sit down and be quiet, and you know what? I'm really tired of that. This 2x4 method, I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Yeah, you got to be willing to listen and pay attention and all. Just as you said, I'll be honest. I get a ringing in my ear on my left side when it's like the universe trying to get my attention. For the last 2 days, I've been ignoring that ringing, and I'm like, I will get to you in a second. I don't have time right now, and now when it's on the right side, it's typically like a guide trying to get my attention. So it's now switched to the right side. I'm like, okay, I will talk to y'all. And I just know if I keep ignoring it, like they're gonna put me in bed for a day, or be like, we're gonna make you listen.
Yeah, they do. They do. It is interesting though, because even when I thought I was listening, well, maybe I wasn't. And that's really annoying. I have to say, it's really annoying to be in a position where it's like, I think I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, and then poof, here we are again, right?
Yep.
So, how do either one of you speak to that? Like, when we feel like we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing, when we feel like we're doing and being everything we're supposed to be, and then all of a sudden it's like everything is gone again. Like the whole world is just shifted and taken. And how do you react to something like that? How do you deal with that?
I think for me, that's when I get to that sense where I feel like I'm just going to put it on in terms of like, quote unquote, lost my way. I'm off the path, however you want to say it.
Right.
I think that's because my brain is overstimulated with so much stimulus that's going on in the world, between social media, between keeping up with friends, family, da 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 da. One technique that I've just picked back up that gave me a lot of clarity the other day is I info dump my brain. And that helps me see things a lot clearer with direction and spirituality and life and whatever, to get me back on a path I'm supposed to be on. And it's simple technique is you get a scratch pad piece of paper and a pen and you set a timer for 15 minutes, and anything that pops into your brain in those 15 minutes gets written down on that paper. Because where I see myself getting off the path is that my processor, aka my brain, and I'm a coding nerd, so I might be using some language here that goes into the nerd territory. Forgive me, but my processor, my brain, is overstimulated. I got too much stuff and not enough memory. So by info dumping that out, I'm clearing out basically the RAM access, the random access memory, and so at that point, I can see things where it's like, oh, I need to go this direction. Oh, I need to do this. Yeah, I need to sit with that a little bit longer, and it kind of helps to guide me back to this path that I'm supposed to be on. And then you can look at that list after that and go, okay, now we can organize this since it's out of my brain.
Putting things out there, has been very, very helpful for myself and a lot of other people.
Our brains aren't meant to hold 2,473 points of information all day long, Right. So write it down and let it go. You've got it on a piece of paper there. And that helps me to think clearer, see things better, and kind of just understand the world around me a little bit more, because I can take in that kind of information. It's not blocked off with what am I going to cook tonight, so much as, hey, there's a message that's trying to get through to you, and I can't get it through to you because you're too worried about blah, 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 or these other 100 things over here. So if I dump those out of my brain, then I can focus on, oh, your left ear's ringing. Universe has a message. Let's answer the phone and let's see what's happening.
That makes sense. Bobbi was talking about the year of the snake. Tell us about that, Bobbi. I mean, I've been talking about it nonstop, but snake to the fire horse. Let's talk about that, because holy crap, is stuff coming up to be released.
Are we there yet? Can we be done with it?
8 more days.
Oh my God.
It's probably why my system is swollen, because I'm not releasing fast enough and I'm not listening. And it's a lot, really. As you were talking, Blake, I was just sitting here going, well, that's probably why I feel swollen today, because my system isn't releasing. I'm not releasing what I'm supposed to release. And again, we all have critical deadlines, it seems, and we're rushing up to the point of when the snake goes away and the horse comes in. And for me, I've resonated with horses my whole life. Mm-hmm. And that in and of itself, I'm ready to get on the horse, but I'm also scared because I'm a little bit old to be getting on the horse again.
Never.
But it doesn't mean I wouldn't try,
Right.
I would like to answer the question of how I get rid of my stuff intelligently, as intelligently as Blake. But I can tell you that, coming from where I came from in, being as old as I am, I don't release things as well as I used to, or thinking that I even had to. And perhaps all of that stuff building up in my body over the years has taken its own toll on my body and how it functions. But I've recently gotten into more breath work than I ever knew was available. And it is such a powerful thing. And I also learned that, how to do it a little bit less abruptly and a little more classically to be able to easily release things. But the crying is such an important part of what we need to do. And people tend to stuff that down. Yeah. And especially men, oh my God, I'm such a baby if I cry. But it's such an important thing. I remember, my mom died when I was 11. And I remember distinctly my oldest brother, his chin quivering because he was trying not to cry. And to this, I think, oh my God, how sad that was, that he felt like he couldn't express himself. But I'm here to tell you, crying is probably about the best cleansing release. It's exhaustive, don't get me wrong. You can go to bed after that and sleep for about 3 hours. Mm-hmm. So For me, it's more breath work and journaling and breathing through it. And when I feel, I've been trained lately that when I feel something, I immediately go into it and release it and boy, I wish I could tell you that I was perfect and that I had the formula for the best life in the world. You just have to go at it one piece at a time and one day at a time and 1 minute at a time and function through it. But I wish I had a better answer than that. That's all there is for me.
Yeah, I have about the same answer you do. I cry out a lot of stuff in the last few months since I have been, I call it being grounded and not in the good way, like go to your room grounded.
I see.
You know? There's been a lot of tears. There's been a lot of things to work with within this vessel that my soul travels in. And sometimes that stuff, when it's coming up in your face day after day after day after day, and it's not like old stuff, it's current stuff. So a lot of crying, a lot of releasing, and then it comes up again the next day. Not because I brought it up, but because I got a message, because I got a phone call, because, some doctor's office wants to talk to me. So it just keeps being brought up over and over, and not by my choice. And so those are the kinds of things that I'm having difficulty with releasing. The old stuff, I have a process for that. I created that process a long time ago. That process still works. And this near the snake thing, like all this new stuff is bringing up a bunch of old stuff to be released. And it's just like, man, is everybody going through this? But then I get on social media. Yeah, everybody's going through
through it.
Everybody's going through this. And not that I want anyone else to feel this way, but it is kind of a relief that I'm not the only one.
Right.
Right.
I think I wake up every day and I'm like, are we done with the year of the snake? Please be done with the year of the snake. Can we get on the horse already?
Yeah, right.
Can I just go ahead and saddle up, please?
Yes, exactly.
Well, there is something to be said about misery loves company.
That's very true.
For me, it's always been because I always internalize things thinking that I was the only one. I was the different one. I was, not on the same boat as everybody else was. So being isolated in that fashion. And then when I look at other people and go, oh my God, they're going through this, yay! And I almost cheer for all of that, which is a sad kind of thing, but it made me feel better.
Yeah, same.
Well, that's why I felt, I don't know, when I went on this healing journey, it was kind of like I felt an obligation as somebody who has a platform, as somebody who has a following through Everything Vaguely Paranormal. Lots of friends that are interested in spirituality and stuff. I was like, you know what? I could spotlight this healing journey, this mental health journey as a man, and be very open about it and stuff. And I realized that when I started putting it out there, at the beginning, I was really nervous because I was like, what are people going to think? That I'm being so vocally open about, crying and all of this stuff as a man. And I should no, my inbox within the first couple of months was just flooded with other guys being like, how do you do this? I feel this way. I feel that way. And I actually had to somewhat, I'm not going to say I'm not a coach, by the way, don't be reaching out for coaching, but somewhat guide and or coach these men to say, it's okay. If you want to cry. You go to the bathroom and cry. Go to your truck and drive down the street and cry. It doesn't matter. Just cry. It's okay. By the way, here's some people who can help you. I was shocked to see how many people were going through it, men specifically, and just sitting in silence about it. And I don't ever wish that on anybody.
Right.
That's why I kind of did it so openly on Facebook and other platforms, because it created a system of accountability for myself to continually check in with myself so that I could give these updates out and go, here's the healing journey update. We cried for 6 hours last night and I had tears down to, my waistband on my shorts, and I can't breathe today, nor do I have any energy, but that's what we did.
Yeah, tomorrow will be better.
And all these people started coming in and they were like, I need to start my healing journey. You've been so inspirational. And that's not the reason why I'm doing it. It's to break the stigma around emotions, and the quote unquote, you're alone in this culture.
Mhm.
You're not alone in this. There's so many people dealing with emotions and don't know how to handle them. And the best thing that I can do is just say, this is what came up and this is how I handled it. Take it for what it is. May work for
I
you, may
think,
not.
yeah, I think sometimes people feel better with some sort of permission that first of all, they're not alone. And secondly, whatever means they choose to release things is okay. Whether it's in the bathroom screaming or crying. And you're right, I'm telling you, crying is an exhaustive thing. I cried one time, my whole body was shaking, and the coach that was around me, the way that he was talking to me, I could tell that it had affected him as well. But you got to get rid of it. It didn't go in there on its own, and it was painful when it went in. It's going to be painful coming out, unfortunately.
Absolutely. I have to say, crying in the shower is, it just feels better. Like it just washes it away while you're crying. It just, even if I'm just standing in the shower crying, it feels better than sitting there with a box of Kleenex.
I never thought of that, Kristina. That's brilliant, actually.
Yeah, crying in the shower is pretty good. I use showers in general as a cleansing method.
Me too,
Literal and spiritual cleansing method.
Yes,
it's the water running over you from head to toe. It's washing down, it's washing out, it's washing away. Yeah. But I do want to say a little disclaimer here for anybody who may be in the spiritual world and trying to work on spiritual journeys, as we've been talking about. When you start releasing this stuff and you start working through it, you're going to free up space in your brain, chakras, energy, aura, whatever. Do not be surprised if stuff starts happening around you. If you have felt things your whole life, like me, I 8 to 10 years old, like I said earlier, I could feel when somebody walked in the room. I can still feel that. I suppressed that for a long time. I refused to embrace the gifts that I had, or whatever you want to call them, skills that I had, until within the last few years when this healing journey started, because I began to have things happening around me that I just could not explain. Seeing full body apparitions walk through my house and going, what was that? Who is that?
I share your pain.
Yeah, like spiritual communication getting 10 times better through the methods that I use, between oracle cards, spirit dice, all of that kind of stuff. Investigations getting 10 times better because I'm seeing things and hearing things and getting messages, that flash imagery. That's never happened until this healing journey. That was a crazy experience to have. Naming a room to a location that I've never been to, and then we all show up and the room is there. And everybody in the group was like, what?
Yeah, that happens.
Like, I've never been here.
That happens.
So do not be surprised as if you're on a spiritual journey, as you release this stuff, that more stuff starts happening, because you're freeing up space in your body for it to happen and for your body and your brain to listen to it.
It also brings up space in your life, because the people who benefited from you not being healed drift away.
Exactly. Yep. I've always said that, your life is similar to a coffee cup. And if the coffee cup is continually filled to the top, it doesn't have room to put anything in it until you get rid of some of the coffee and then put something else better inside of the cup. And I agree with you. There's, when you start releasing things, more of yourself comes back, because you've been holding on to pieces that, first of all, don't serve you anymore. And secondly, the fact that it's not really you anymore needs to go, and getting rid of that kindling in there and burning it out of there is so important, to release all of those things and then have something better come in. You get messages from places you have no idea why they're showing up. It's like magic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Exactly. Yes.
I know, getting a call from one of my friends in Canada and them being like, hey, we need your help on this case. And I was like, at the time I lived in Texas. I was like, I'm in Texas. You realize that, right? Like, I can't just, go. But she was like, no. We're going to do it over the phone. They asked for you.
Oh,
they asked for me. I've never been to this location. What are you talking about? They asked for me. She goes, I don't know. We just got Blake with the dice. And she's like, so I'm calling you. And so it's like, I can try to do a remote reading. I've never done it. And I did. And I ended up connecting with the spirit that they were trying to connect to. He wanted to talk to me for whatever reason. Never been.
So how was the reading? Now I'm curious.
It was okay. So the whole situation was basically they were trying to get in touch with this young kid, and they could not get in touch with this young kid because the property that they were on, this gentleman had taken his life, and he was suppressing the other spirits there, and so he was really kind of holding this kid back from being able to talk and whatnot. And my whole thing was, I asked my guides, I said, "Can you hold this gentleman back? I don't want to talk to him. I want to talk to the kid." And when I said that, the spirit dice like changed direction. At first they were kind of vulgar, very mean, and then it changed to like, "Hi, I'm Ben," is what it's saying. I was like, "Okay, Ben." And the stuff that I got in the dice directly correlated to what they had been getting describing this kid. And they were trying to figure out if he was being suppressed, held there, whatever you want to call it, or if he was choosing to stay or something along the lines. We ended up getting the answers that we needed. And I told my guides at the end of it, I was like, "Okay, you can let him go." And I'm done. And I threw the dice one last time, and I have a light on my phone recording the whole, because I record every session that I do, just in case somebody's like, "That didn't happen." I'm like, "No, here's the receipt." But I have a light on my phone, and I said, "You can let him go." And I say, "Give me a bye. I'm gonna close this communication channel down." And I threw the dice, and I got "F you," and my light died on my phone. And I was like, "We're done." We're done with that.
So now I'm even more curious because, I really don't know you well.
Mm-hmm.
Today was the first day. Tell me about the dice. What's the dice all about?
Oh man, the spirit dice. This has been a fun thing to learn and talk to people about. Back in, I don't even remember, 2022, somewhere in there, we went to Broadhead Manor, and
Yes.
Bill Walter and Ron up there, who own Broadhead Manor, love them to death. We were in one of the rooms, and they had a set of spirit dice on the table, and I had heard of them, but I'd never, I don't want to say played with them, but played with them, And so they're basically, their set was 13 dice with the alphabet on them, and you pick them up. You basically ask questions out loud in your head, however you want to do it. You throw the dice, and you look for the answers within the dice. And the whole thing is about being a conduit, a channel that they can channel the energy into the dice, and then you read the words that come up that match. I picked them up and immediately started getting answers and asked Bill, I was like, "Does any of this correlate?" And he's like, "Actually, yeah, that's kind of strange." I was like, "I'm gonna need that set of dice then." He's like, "Well, that's my last pair." I'm like, "I don't care. I need the dice. Can I will double the price, whatever, give them to me." And he sold them to me, and I still have them, but I ended up doing more and more readings and realized that some of the words in the English dictionary I weren't able to get because I didn't have enough of the letters. And so it's like, how can I do this where I can keep the same amount of dice, 13 dice, and I can reinvent, so to speak, the letters that are on there and how many times they appear. So I nerded out, and I went to look to see how many times letters appear in the English dictionary on a percentage. And I did a mathematical equation and came up with a new set of dice. Where I took out the lower end letters, put in the higher end letters, stuff like that. And the communication they get now is insane. So I actually pulled them out. Something told me to pull them out before we started. So I've had them sitting on my desk here, but I'll just pull one out. So they're these little dice, and they have
interesting. That's my initial. Okay, good.
Yeah, right there at the start. Yeah. So they have just little letters on them. There are 13 of them. And basically, I open the circle and I just say, "Give me hi, hey, or hello. Let me know that you're ready to start. I'm ready to begin." And I open them up, and I typically will get hi, hey, or hello, one of the three. And then I'll go through the whole process of, who are we talking to? Are you guide? Are you spirit? Can you give me a descriptor? Are you male, female? Are you older? Are you younger? And every time I ask a question, I pick up the dice and I rethrow them, and I look for the answer in the dice. And at first, I was like, doubting myself. I was like, there just has to be luck or something behind it, that they're just landing this certain way. And it wasn't until I started doing readings for other people that I was like, okay, this is not luck. This is when somebody said, I asked them, "Do you have any questions for anybody on this side?" They said, "Yeah, I recently lost my dog, Panda, and I just want to know if he's okay." And I said, "Okay, can my guides connect with your guides and see, is Panda there?" And I threw the dice, and in the dice I got Panda okay.
Oh.
And I was like, Panda's okay, I guess. I don't, and then throwing them and doing readings just in different locations. names that come up that are directly correlated to me. Like I've had my grandmother come into a reading at an investigation. We called her Grans, Grans, and I throw the dice, and her name is directly lined up, Grans, in the dice, right across the middle of the dice. And I just remember being like, "What are you doing here? Go home." I'll talk to you later. Go home.
God, that's hilarious.
Just things like that. So they've been very interesting to use as a tool for spiritual communication.
Would you like to do a live reading today?
Oh, I want to say yes, but I don't have space. Right, my space right here to be able to throw is so little. I would have to rearrange a bunch of stuff, and so.
Well, we'll break for a commercial, like 5 minutes.
Or we'll bring him back another time when he's prepared to do it.
I was going to say, yeah, I wasn't quite prepared to do it today. So maybe another time we'll say, because there's a lot of meditation that
That would be great. I'm really enamored with all of that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do it on another time when when I go through my process, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll have you back definitely.
Oh, Bill Walker's in the comments.
Yeah, Bill said Ron started making new sets. We will have them at Broadhead this summer. Yay.
They're amazing.
Are you coming up to the Bearded Brother?
We will be there.
I will too. I'll see you there. Yay.
Yay. Awesome. Yep. We will be up there. Yeah. Now that I'm halfway closer to Broadhead Manor, because I moved from Texas to Kansas City. So
yeah,
I'm no longer 13, 14 hours away from Broadhead. I'm only like 7.5 now.
Wow. So what else are you doing?
Yeah, what do you got coming up?
I've got, oh my gosh, what am I not doing? I just like to stay busy. That's the thing. I mean, we got the podcast that we run on a weekly basis, where we just cover all different types of paranormal, or true crime or conspiracy theory type stuff over there. And so we do that on a weekly basis. We're kind of on hiatus right now. Typically December, January, February, we kind of go on a hiatus to spend time with friends, family, regroup, rest, and get ready for the next year of just running the roads all over the country. Our first investigation this year is not until March 15th. So we're going to be going to Sleeper Mortuary up in Iola, Kansas, and doing a investigation there. Pretty excited about that. Just launching the new podcast, The Conversations, finally living life. Yes, I'm finally living life, Bill. But Conversation with Mother is launching. We've got another business, House of Many Paths. It's going to be launching alongside of that, which is going to be a queer-led group that is focused on spirituality and healing, meeting people where they're at and how they want to show up, taking away the stigma that if something's wrong with you, you need to be fixed. We're not going to be a wellness program. It's not anything like that. We're going to be more about like nervous system regulation, helping you along the way. So I've got 3 other people that we are forming a business for that as well, that we're trying to get off the ground pretty quick. God, what else? Coding classes. I've been doing those, nerding out on those.
Tell me about the coding classes. What is that?
So basically it's computer languages. Been going through those and how to build apps, websites, web-based apps, all of that kind of different stuff to be able to kind of do whatever I want with, and helping people develop things, We're in the process of kind of helping people, one person develop the back end of an app right now. I've developed my own app in the process of trying to get that launched, which is very spiritual based, called Arcane Pantry, which is going to basically be a database grimory of sorts where you can click on different herbs, different crystals, planets, all that stuff, and you can see the correspondences across, matching of like, oh, I want to do a protection something ritual. Whether it be spell jar, ritual, altar offering, whatever, you can click on protection and it'll have all your herbs, crystals, planet, moon phase, all of that kind of stuff of what to use, when to use it, how to use it, all that kind of stuff. So been developing that. 4,500 different data points have gone into that so far. That's been a long process.
Yes.
And hopefully
that's impressive. I just want to say that's impressive.
lot of research.
Yes.
A lot of research on that
Yes.
one. So yeah, just being a nerd all around. That's my life right now.
Isn't it just fun to be released from things that other people's expectations of you?
Yes, yes,
And
yes, it is.
I don't know about you. I remember reading something about you and saying that, you had to unlearn shame.
Yeah.
Got any points about that? Any?
Oh my gosh, the first thing that I can tell people about unlearning anything that you carry with you, guilt, shame, take a look at the conditions under which you were raised. That's where you want to start, and start asking questions. I'm not asking you to dismantle your life or dismantle your faith or dismantle anything like that. But if something's not sitting right with you, we gotten away from asking why and trying to seek the explanation behind it. Instead, we're just getting caught up with, well, my best friend sent me this video, so they believe it, and I'm best friends with them, so I'm going to jump on board and get on this bandwagon, instead of stopping and asking ourselves, is this something truly that I want to carry with me for the rest of my life? Is this a belief is a belief that I can integrate into my existence? We have shied away so much about asking, why do I believe this? Why do I follow this? Why do I want to be a part of this? And when you start asking that simple question of why, you're going to go deeper and deeper until you get to the root cause of it. And you're going to find out some things don't fit in your life. And on those things, you can just kind of, toss to the wayside, work through and process them, get them out of your life. And then that frees you up to be able to explore all different kinds of areas. Because one thing I think we forget is that all doors are open in life. We get taught so early that you have to go this way. You have to go to school, and when you get out of school, you got to go to college. And when you get out of college, maybe you'll find the love of your life in college, and then you're going to get together, get married, have children, buy a house. No.
Right.
Why do you have to do that? Maybe
Right.
that's what your parents did. Maybe that's what your grandparents did, and that worked for them, and that's okay. But why do you have to do that? If it doesn't sit right with you, why do you have to do it?
Right. Yep. There is a tribe. We all have our own tribes.
Mm-hmm.
And when we find the tribe that we belong to, that we feel comfortable with, we thrive.
Absolutely.
And there's so many people out there that are not thriving. So if you could tell our audience one thing about what you did to rebuild yourself, what would that look like?
I shattered. That's one of the biggest things I can tell people. One of my favorite quotes that I came across that really started this whole process was, if you're wanting to build a new life, it's not going to cost you much except your old one.
Yep. Exactly.
True.
Yes, exactly that.
And that mindset, taking that into the healing journey, when I call it my shattering moment. I came across a reel, and the lady literally was just like, it's okay to shatter. And like one tear fell, and then I just couldn't stop it. And going into that moment to speak to mental health or anything like that, but especially for men who have an issue with crying. I sat in my bed for 3 or 4 hours. And when I say I had tears down to my waistband, that's not a lie. I was so scared of how the night was going to end. I had one of my best friend's phone number up on the screen, ready to call her, because number one, I knew she'd answer. Number two, I knew she was awake, because it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. She never sleeps. And so it's like, just having that on my phone, I was like, I'm okay. She's right there. If I need her, I can do this. I'm not getting myself out of this. I'm just going to feel it. And I bawled, uncontrollably shaking, making sounds that no human should make. And when you hear that sound, you know exactly what sound I'm talking about.
Yes.
And that is what I call the shattering moment, is because you are releasing everything. It is a guttural moan that just it sounds inhuman. Mm-hmm. And once that shattering moment happens, you can start sifting through the pieces and go, I want this piece back. I don't want this piece. I want this piece back. And the best part about it is that when you shatter something and you put it back together, it's not going to go back the same way, because you're trying to fit it into a different form. You don't have all the pieces. So it's time to fill in the different pieces at that point. it's okay to shatter. That's got to be my biggest takeaway from this whole thing.
And I would also like to point out, this is not a one-time thing.
Nope.
Shattering is not a one-time thing.
It's not. It's not. It's scary because it's a lot of people don't go through the process. The only reason why it's scary is because it's unknown to you. But once you go through it and you're willing to sit with it and you're willing to get through all the emotions and get them out, when you come out on the other side, you're going to go, oh, wait, I was safe the whole time. I survived that.
Yeah.
I can do this. And it's just something about that transformative mindset that I'm going to shatter and I'm going to rebuild it. That's just very empowering to me. If you can get past the nerves and the being afraid of the unknown of what's on the other side. We don't know what's on the other side in anything, but you're never going to know where you can get until you take the first step, shatter and start taking that first step. That's got to be my thing. Kind of takeaway is, you want a new life. It's only going to cost you your old one.
Right. And you can have those pieces, some of the pieces that were left behind.
Yeah.
Eventually you will likely keep those old pieces for comfort and eventually get rid of them because they don't belong to you anyway. Right. They become outdated.
I think another piece of advice I'll give people too that I had to learn, Kristina, well, I think y'all both kind of hit on this, was that if you're going through spiritual journey, healing journey, this shattering moment and trying to rebuild your life and elevate, please remember that the door is only wide enough for you to walk through. You cannot carry everybody with you. You can go through it and you can build the foundation. You can build yourself back up. You can come back for people and pull them with you. But you have to be the one that goes through it first. You can carry people with you after the fact. That's fine. But your healing journey, your spiritual journey is not about bringing best friend, mother, sister, whatever label you want to put on it. It's about getting yourself there first. You got to get a chair at the table before you can pull other chairs to the table.
Right.
So make sure that you remember that. And as y'all said, those people who are not going to want to go along in the journey, they will fall off.
They will fall off.
When you start doing transformative stuff, you're going to lose people. Just the way.
But then you're going to gain some really amazing people.
Absolutely. You're going to gain some
that
amazing
gap in
people.
between is where people struggle. Yes.
Yes.
That gap in between.
Yep.
Yeah.
And although it feels like a precarious position to be in, you still need to go by yourself and you're safe, knowing that you're safe. It doesn't feel like you're safe, but you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think
knowing that you
what
have
Blake
that
said
phone
was,
call.
I'm sorry. What Blake said was really key. Have one person you can call if you need to.
Yeah.
I think that's really key. I think that, we do walk the journey alone, but sometimes we need a lifeline too.
And
I
that's
think
okay.
it's important to have that. It's very important.
That's okay. Guess what? My inbox on Facebook or whatever is always open. I always answer if somebody messages me and says like, "Hey, I'm going through this. How did you do it?" I'm not a coach. I always put that out there. I'm not a coach. I don't have a certificate, anything. I have lived experience. That's all that I have.
Right.
And if you don't have anybody else to reach out to, you can reach out to me and go, "Hey, I'm dealing with this, and this is how'd you do it?" And I can tell you, here's my lived experience. This is not coaching advice. This is not teachings of any kind. I can just share what I did to be able to get through it, and hopefully it'll help you. But I can be a lifeline if you don't have a lifeline. Not in the sense of if you're in trouble and you're struggling, then there are lines and all of that to be able to reach out to. But if you want to just know the process that I took, that hey, I'm struggling from point A to point B, I'm happy to share that. I'm very open about my healing journey and the process that I've taken on my personal Facebook, Blake A. Smith. You can find me out there on there. And I got sunglasses. I'm eating a piece of candy for my profile picture for anybody who wants to know.
I love it.
So now that we're wrapping up, you want to tell us where you're going to be? If you have a place you want people to contact you or shows you're going to be at?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we do a weekly podcast, Everything Vaguely Paranormal podcast. We're live every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. You can catch us over the Central Standard Time on that. You can catch us over there. We cover paranormal hauntings, UFOs, aliens, conspiracy theories, cryptids. We have a lot of fun. We are an 18-plus show, just FYI. So putting that out there because, We like to have fun. We'll just put it that way. But anyways, if you listen to audio, we upload Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. to about 19 different audio platforms. So you can catch them over there as well. Other than that, you can catch us around the country doing different conventions here and there, from Utah to the Northeast down to Texas. We'll be everywhere kind of this year. So go check us out. And if you have questions about healing journey or spiritual journey, my personal one, I don't mind sharing lived experience. Blake A. Smith on Facebook. You can go find that. Check in the About Me section. You'll see Everything Vaguely Paranormal in there. And that'll be me. So
thank you so much for coming. You've been an amazing guest. I really thoroughly enjoyed this and would like to ask you back sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kristina, what about you? Where are you?
Where am I? Let's see. Well, this Saturday I will be in Onalaska at the Soul and Synergy Fair. I don't remember the name of the place, but I know it's a nice arena. It's a big place in Onalaska. I wish I could remember the name, but my brain just tweaked. Let's see, where else am I going to be? I'm going to be on Agents of the Unexplained podcast coming up. I'm going to be on the Paranormal Spectrum. I had to think about the words there. The Paranormal Spectrum podcast. I know that that's coming up. I didn't even look at my calendar. I'm kind of on sabbatical at the moment, so I don't have all my information in front of me. But yeah, there's some fun stuff coming up. I'll be at the CAPS Paracon, Cryptid Con. It's in May in not Lac du Flambeau. Good Lord, Fond du Lac. It's in Fond du Lac. Yeah,
a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah, the Omni Center. That's where I will be this coming weekend. The Omni Center. Thank you, Lee. I couldn't remember the name of it, and I just wanted to throw a shout out to Shelby. Shelby is like just the most amazing person. And so is Lee. But I got to meet Blake and Shelly at the same time. They are both part of EVP, and we had so much fun hanging out the last weekend when we were there that weekend at Deidre's place. That was so much fun hanging out with you guys. And I just miss you both so much. It's just crazy. But I would like to read what Shelly wrote, and that's: Blake's gotten me through many rough nights, and how she moved it, and how open he is with his healing journey has given me the confidence I needed to do the same. Sending all my love. So I wanted to make sure that got read on the show.
Well, I'll say that's actually Shelby, not Shelly.
Yeah, I knew that. I just read it wrong.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Shelby is she's another one of thank you, Shelby, for that. That means
she's amazing.
For that. That's very sweet.
Very nice.
What do you got going on, Bobbi? Because I know you do some healing stuff and you got some shamanic stuff going on.
Well, yes. If somebody wants to contact me for some breath work and some shamanic healing sessions and stuff, they can reach me on Facebook in private message me, and I will contact you back. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much
for readings. Contact me on Facebook.
Take care, everyone.